So this message is going to focus in on a little bit of a twist by the media at the time, trying to tell people how to die. And that's summarized in the words of Captain E.J. Smith.
What would have happened if the Titanic had gone down today? Can you imagine the outrage and the media furor that had gone up? There would have been accusations that would...
Now notice there's a lot of music that's put out in regards to the Titanic. So the music industry flourished and actually made a lot of money on the sinking of the Titanic hoax, because people wanted to buy the music and play the music and have the music at home with their pianos. It isn't like today with people with their CD players and computers. They had pianos in their homes and people came over for music recitals.
Finger pointing, there would have been litigation on an international, practically a cosmic scale, wanting to know who was to blame and how did it happen. But in 1912, things were very different. Yes, of course there were inquiries. There was an inquiry in America, and there was another one back in the United Kingdom. People, of course, did want to know what happened. But the media concentrated.
What happened? Nothing! Nothing! But people do not understand the difference between reality and reality, meaning the reels of the media. Or, to put it in the terms that I discovered years ago in a book about the Japanese media, media atrocities. That's a reference to atrocities that occur in print, in newspaper or magazines, or in this case in reels, film reels, or television. In other words, they don't really exist except on paper and in print or in the movies. That's all Titanic was. It was a gigantic media atrocity.
Not so much on the loss of life and the responsibility. They focused on something different. They were concerned with how the Anglo-Saxon races, and the British in particular, had gone up and maintained a stiff upper lip.
Okay, if you saw it there, it's in the postcard right there at the very bottom. Supposedly, Captain Smith will utter these two words: "Be British!" Now, if you're a viewer from Great Britain, a viewer that lives in England, could you please explain to me and to others who are not British, what does it mean when you're given the command to be British? Well, I guess what they're implying in this documentary is you keep the stiff upper lip. You just accept it. Don't say a word. Don't cry. Be courageous. Stay cool. Stay true to your training and traditions. In other words, it's just a form of death worship. And there's a lot of that these days in America, and I would imagine in Great Britain too, and around the world, because these people love death.
British knew how to die. And that's why whenever today you look at any memorial to Captain Smith, you look at any popular media coverage of the sinking and aftermath of the Titanic, what they concentrate on is not blame, is not upon death, and is not upon responsibility. What they focus upon is the dying words of Captain Edward John Smith of the Titanic.
Now what's interesting is I just did a video on the four alternative endings of Captain Smith, and yet they're going to proclaim the dying words were "Be British." But they also will tell you nobody knows exactly what happened to Captain Smith. It's a contradiction, a contradiction. They're telling you the last words of Captain Smith were "Be British." And yet, in this documentary, they said nobody really knows how Captain Smith died.
Be British.
There was no Borough Council move for any kind of monument to Captain Smith in Stoke, and it was left to a friend, William Hampton, to raise money for a plaque, which was sited in Hanley Town Hall. As for the statue, Bishop...
Be British.
Raised an appeal and commissioned...
You folks that live in Great Britain, please comment. Please help us, who have not been raised in British culture, who have not been raised in Great Britain, England. Tell us, what does it mean that Captain Smith echoes these words into history? Please with me, please with you, be British. Well, as far as I'm concerned, you don't have to be British. As far as I'm concerned, be yourself. Be a believer in Jesus Christ. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. End of video.